Okay, so I had a really great question recently about when it's appropriate to let your form go a little bit to move to a heavier weight. So an example of this is if you're doing a set of, or maybe doing sets of 10 and then resting between, and then you're doing sets of 8 and then 6 and then 4, and the goal is to increase the weight as the reps get lower, and you're doing maybe your like second set of 6, and you just notice that your form is not looking and feeling as good. So is it appropriate to kind of stick with that weight and kind of not have perfect form, or should you use lighter weight? And the answer is, of course, it's always individual, right? And I always think just trust your gut and trust your intuition. Like if it just doesn't feel good for your body and it doesn't feel like it's moving you in the right direction, then just use the lighter weight. But there is this kind of gray area of letting your form go a little bit to get stronger and to use the heavier weight. Now, I only recommend doing this if you don't have pre-existing conditions or like injuries. So for example, if we're talking about doing a bench press or a chest press and you're trying to use those heavy weights, but you've had shoulder injury, then maybe that's not the right lift to do this with. But if you have lots of good stability and flexibility in those joints that you're using, letting your form go just a little bit in moving towards the heavier weights, because that your goal is to use heavier weights and get stronger, I do think it can happen. It's always been hard for me because I'm always a perfectionist about my form. It's hard to kind of live in that space where I'm like, I know my form can be better, but I do really want to push to that heavier weight. I do think it can be beneficial. So anyways, long-winded answer to that question. Hope it helps.